To be able to like a piece of art, sometimes you have to be brave. You have to give up the pretentiousness in you that comes between you and the art. You also have to be able to admit to people that a piece of famous art does not speak to you at all. You are at sea. You are lost. You have no culture. You are uncivilized. You are a fool. Only after that, free from self-consciousness, you're free to explore. Of course, you'll have to do the exploring. Let's say you don't speak any French. You obviously are going to have some difficulties in Paris. Paris is better in recent years, although a lot of Parisians are still somewhat uncomfortable speaking English. But you should not automatically assume that the French people are only speaking gibberish. So you need to put up an effort. Then you will know some French language and enjoy Paris a lot more. If a piece of art that does not make sense to you, like this Picasso painting, let's say, Les Demoiselles d'Avignon, you have to be brave enough to say, I don't get this one. Modern art is a language, like music, if you will. The purpose is to express certain human feelings that could not be expressed in another way, such as in literature or music. The title of the painting indicates that it is a painting of prostitutes. Let's look at these two. Are they happy? Are they enjoying themselves? One time a friend of mine told me that the hooker was reading newspaper when he was doing it. Yes, they want money. You can see that in their eyes. But they demonstrate no normal human feeling or emotion in a sexual situation. At least that's not how our hormone system functions. Let me ask another question. Do you want to do it with any of these people? Let's say free of charge. Some 30 years ago, I was having dinner in a Chinese restaurant in Washington, D.C. I talked to the owner, politely as always. He saw that we were a bunch of students, so he tried to show his superiority over us, or inferiority, depending on how you look at it. After giving us some of his stories, he proceeded to ask us how many women you've been with. So I shot back at him. Was any of your women any good? Needless to say, we never saw him again. Now, let's look at this one. Okay, let's just say I'm not very sure about this one. Let's take a look at this one. With a black eye, it is easy to feel that this is a beastly figure. The question here is, do you dare to do it with her? Let's look at this one. She's very much like those two in the middle. The only difference is that she's probably black, or to be perfectly politically correct, African French. Let's come back to the one that we didn't get. With her naked back facing us, we could only see her face in this unnatural way. I don't know about you, somehow I feel that she's angry, ready to explode. By the way, the beast appears to be behind the curtain. Her breasts are, let's just say, different from others. Is she the maid or the madame? Judging from her thin waist, the correct answer probably is that she's a maid. Wow. Even the maid there is a beast. The ultimate point here is that it does not matter how we take the meaning of the images. The point is, however we take it, does anybody still want to go to one of those establishments? After giving this painting some thoughts, you probably will think that Amsterdam got this one right. Academic art historians probably will say that this painting represents the fin de siècle, or the end-of-century decadent art style that reflects the melancholy of the time during the economic boom and the decades without wars after the Industrial Revolution. The Demoiselles d'Avignon was painted in 1907. Let's take another example. In 1894, Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec painted this Rue de Moulins, which is some prostitutes ready to be examined. I always thought that this kind of art is social criticism. The artists painted their own living environments instead of some heroic scenes which may not have anything to do with their lives. To me, pointing out the problems or the dark side of people's lives is not an act of decadence. Hitler, Stalin, and other dictators tried to stamp them out because they pointed out the problems of the society. Recognizing problems is always the first step towards solving them. That's simple logic. So I regard them as the most positive and heroic act, not decadent at all. Of course, everything that's said here is only my personal opinion. Whatever you think after viewing the painting, the important thing in looking at art, as in life, is to open mind and enjoy yourself, regardless your actual opinion. In other words, after seeing the picture, if you get the sensation of 4 perky girls ready to go crazy, what's wrong with it? I'll see you next time.